Fallout New Vegas is a game that allows you to play in many different ways. You could be the good guy, the bad guy, a cannibal, you know, the works. But what if you decide to play the game in a completely different way? A completely different game. Something Animal Crossing. Today, I'm doing what everyone else is too lazy to do themselves. Can you beat Fallout New Vegas as an Animal Crossing villager? Now shut up, children, and gather around so I can tell you the rules. I'm not allowed to use any chems nor stimpaks because, you know, E for everyone, and also I'm going to be defending myself using shovels and axes. I'm only allowed to wear some pre-war outfits because technically I can get away with wearing some sets of armor, but I think it would just work better for the build if I stuck with the Animal Crossing feel. I'm going to be going for an independent New Vegas ending, and I'm going to be playing on very hard difficulty, just because that's the difficulty I usually play on. I'll expand upon the rules the further I go into this playthrough, but for now, that's it. And one more thing before we start, I'd like to give a big thank you to Nurbit and Min Squad for giving me the idea to do my own Fallout challenge video. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. We begin our journey with Bennifer giving us 2 bullets to the head as a nice welcoming gift to the Mojave. After getting my cranium cracked, I wake up in front of Doc Mitchell, who gives me the gift of
character creation.
And I immediately use my power for evil by making myself the sexiest man alive. After waddling my way to the vigor tester machine that Doc Mitchell just has for some reason, I assign my stats. After making a pretty generic melee build, I put some points into luck just so I can gamble on the strip if I need to. I tagged melee, speech, and survival, and I also made my traits heavy-handed and skilled because why not? After Doc Mitchell's interrogation, he immediately kicked me out of his house. Now that I have freedom, I immediately booked it to Chet's and bought the weapon I'd be using for 75% of the run. The mighty shovel! Okay, all jokes aside, the shovel is actually a pretty bad melee weapon. But alas, it's gonna be the weapon I'm gonna be stuck with for most of the run, so I better get used to it. So with tool in hand, I started booking it to the strip as soon as possible. Because if Animal Crossing taught me anything, it's that my greed is never ending, and the only way to suffice myself is through fictional currency that will fill the void in my heart. I speedrun getting to Vegas by taking the Black Mountain shortcut through the Indiana Jones reference straight to Camp McCarran, where I take the monorail, and then I get to Vegas in no time flat. This is where I stop for a moment to look at Vegas as a whole. This is gonna be my town. I'm gonna be mayor, and no one else. After I'm done monologuing, I stop at Mick and Ralph's to buy a new outfit for my character. And now I have officially acquired the armor that I'm gonna be wearing for the rest of the run. Yep, this. I have 0 defense. But hey, if I'm gonna die, at least I'm gonna look good doing it. Fast forward, I make my way back to the strip where I go to Gomorrah and start gambling all my money away. And when I mean gambling all my money away, I mean gambling until I win enough money that the casino boots me out of its own establishment. Before I leave the strip, I go to the tops where I get a good look at Benny for that free XP, and then I head to the Lucky 38 to meet Mr. House. When I'm done meeting senior residents, I ended up making up another rule. I had to recruit all the companions like how I would recruit villagers in Animal Crossing. I know, it's kinda dumb, but whatever, it's fun. With the new rule in mind, I make my way to the Old Mormon Fort where I go try to recruit Arcade Gannon. Luckily for me, my character has sucked mad ween in the past, so he was able to easily convince Arcade Gannon to join the posse. After sending Arcade back to the Lucky 38, I actually head back to Goodsprings so I could test the full might of my shovel. Back at Goodsprings, I kill Joe Cobb and rub my full sack in his face. I'm using this quest as a way to measure how strong I'm actually going to be for the rest of this playthrough, because if I can't kill some lousy powder gangers, how the hell do I expect to kill Leggett Lanius at the end of the game? Anyways, when the powder gangers do show up, I almost immediately die. Oh god. Oof. After killing all the powder gangers, I finally finished the Ghost Town gunfight side quest, and oh god, I need to replan my strategy. Trying my best to ignore the newfound dread I have, I go to the Goodsprings Cemetery to pick up the cigarette butts that Benny left near my grave. I fast travel back to Freeside so I can start working for the king, just so I can get one step closer to getting Rex. The king's first task for me is to check out this guy named Oris, cause he's kinda suspicious, but I take it as, kill Oris cause he's kinda suspicious. So I sneak up behind Oris, smack him with my mighty shovel, and hopefully that'll take him down in one. Well, that was embarrassing, but I got a trick up my sleeve. Remember those guards in front of Freeside that you can hire to protect you? Yeah, no one ever uses them, but I'm using them to kill Oris this time. Now that I have a mini militia by my side, we start our assault on Oris, aka I let them do all the work as I cower behind a dumpster. After a little bit of running around, I finally get Rex as a new resident in my town. After dumping the pooch into the Lucky 38, I run to the 188 trading post so I can get Veronica as a new resident. Veronica is by far the easiest companion to recruit because all you need to do is just strike up a conversation with her and she's ready to fight and die for you. As tempting as that sounds, I just decide to dump her into Lucky 38 where she'll stay for the rest of her days. I book it to Novak where my next companion is waiting for me in a dinosaur mouth. Huh, weird. The method of getting Boone isn't as easy as Veronica because he wants me to track down the person that sold his wife to slavers and bring him to the front of the dinosaur so he can kill him with a sniper rifle. Yeah, this got pretty dark. But on the bright side, when I return to Boone, he'll say that he will move into my new town. Yay! Before leaving Novak, I stop at this garage so I can steal everything in it. I swear this will come into play later. I take a detour so I can head to Jacobstown, where I can recruit both Lily and help Dr. Henry with his research. Dr. Henry gives me the task of recovering an old stealth boy that was lost in a Night Stalker cave because one of the Nightkins stole it from him. He recommends that I take Lily, which is exactly what I do, and we head to the Night Stalker cave, and I just use a stealth boy to sneak through him because fuck that noise. After a couple of attempts, I was finally able to recover the Stealth Boy when Lily was being eaten alive by all the Night Stalkers. I return back to Dr. Henry, where I give his Stealth Boy back, and we begin researching on Lily. After the research is done, I can return to Dr. Henry, where I can complete the quest, and aw, fuck. Because I lack the speech skill to talk Keen out of attacking us, I have to fight Keen and 2 other super mutants. Great! Of course I died, and then I died again, and again, and once more, until I decided it was probably a good idea if I just ran out the building. I sort of just sat outside for a sec, thinking of what to do until I built up my courage and just went back inside. And to my utter surprise, Keen and a Nightkin just were friendly to me again. I don't know why, I was still tasked to kill them, but they were just cool. Somehow I Batmaned myself into this situation, so now I had prep time to, kill them. I didn't know what to do in this situation. I couldn't wear any armor and I was kind of stuck using the shovel until I got an idea. A brilliant idea. After making the proper preparations, I lure one of the Nightkins into my traps. That trap being a floor full of mines. Now you might be asking to yourself, Mad Max, how the hell is this fair? Well, technically, I'm not using the mines to kill them, I'm only using them to cripple them, just like pitfalls. So the mines are not mines, they're pitfalls, as long as I'm only using them to cripple their legs. And also, let's be honest, how the hell did you guys expect me to kill 3 Nightkin with a shovel on very hard difficulty? Yeah, we would have been here forever. After my victory over the Nightkin, I report back to Dr. Henry and let him know that his prototype is safe. After sending Lily off to the Lucky 38 and getting healed up by Julie Farkas, I head to Prim to get my next resident, which is everyone's favorite iBot, Eddie. I used the scrap material I stole from the garage in Novak, see, I told you I'd come back later, to repair Eddie, and now he'll be a permanent resident of New Vegas. I march my way to the Mojave Outpost to recruit the second to last villager I need to finish this part of the challenge, that being Cass. Also, on a side note, I forgot to mention that I already went to Crimson Caravan Company to get the mission from Alice McLafferty, so yeah, my bad. It didn't matter, however, because I didn't have enough skill points in neither speech nor barter to actually convince her to come along with me, so I just had to leave in defeat. Since I was too underleveled to recruit Cass, I decided to do some of the main mission, so I made my way to Boulder City, shat my pants,
What the fuck are you doing?
And talked to Lieutenant Monroe. I was tasked with settling a hostage situation between the NCR and Great Khans, so I go to talk to the big boss and holy crap, is that the guy who was at my execution? What the hell is he doing here? Though killing him right here now was very, very tempting, I decided it wasn't neighborly, so I decided to negotiate a deal between him and the NCR. I let Lieutenant Monroe know that I negotiated a deal where the Great Khans let go of the hostages in exchange for their freedom. And as a reward, I got some good boy points with both the Great Khans and the NCR, but I also got Benny's engraved lighter. Though I didn't get my revenge against Jessup and the Great Khans, I decided that now was as good a time as any to get my revenge against Bennifer. I entered the tops and talked to Swank, Benny's right-hand man, and I let him in on all of Benny's secrets. Swank is actually pretty convinced that Benny is trying to make a play against Mr. House, so to investigate further, he sends me up to his room. Using the key Swank gave me, I investigate Benny's room and guess what I find? A Securitron! Oh, no wonder. Yes Man is a Securitron that, well, can only say yes, hence the name. And since he's programmed to literally never say no, he spills the beans to me about Benny's plans pretty easily. All I had to do was ask. I learned that Benny was in fact definitely 100% trying to make a play against Mr. House, and the entire reason why he shot me in the head was because I was carrying something very important, the platinum chip. It was actually pretty funny because Benny didn't know anything about the platinum chip. All he knew is that Mr. House wanted it, so he was going to take it for himself. Another thing me and Yes Man discussed was what if I wanted to take over the strip instead of Benny. And since Yes Man can literally never say no, he was very confident that he could help me. After I was done plotting, I returned to Swink and tell him that yes, Benny was 100% making his own play and that I need to wipe him off the face of the planet. So Swink was like, alright, and he sent Benny up to his room where I can execute him. So I went to Benny's room, placed a pitfall, and was ready to enact my revenge against Bennifer. The fight against Benny was actually pretty anticlimactic. I just kept whacking him with my shovel until he walked into my pitfall, crippled himself, and I just finished him off. Now that Benny has a shovel-sized dent in his head, I returned to Yes Man, who was literally in the room next to us, and tell him that Benny was dead and I had the platinum chip. Yes Man informed me that my next move, in order for me to become the new mayor of New Vegas, I had to wipe out Mr. House. On my way to the Lucky 38, a furry ran up to me and told me that Daddy Yif wanted me to meet me in his fort. I hesitantly agreed, but I think I'd regret that later. Now that I'm in the Lucky 38, I spent no time making sure that Mr. House would regret making me Employee of the Month. Using the platinum chip, I used a terminal to open the passageway to Mr. House's chambers. Entering the chambers, I learned a terrible truth about Mr. House. I learned the fact that he was actually a shriveled up raisin. His crimes against Cookies were unforgivable and shouldn't be left unpunished, so I beat him to death slowly with my shovel. With justice dealt, I returned to Alice McLafferty to turn in some quests, and I actually got the most important perk of the entire run when I leveled up. That being the Super Slam perk. The Super Slam perk allows you to knock down enemies whenever you hit them with a melee attack, which happens a lot by the way, so basically you can just keep the enemy ragdolled on the floor while you beat them senseless. Also, I was able to level up my speech enough so I can convince Cassidy to come move into New Vegas. I returned to the strip to inform Yes Man that Mr. House has been demolished and that he can take his place whenever he wants. Now that my favorite dick rider has been uploaded into Mr. House's mainframe, he can show me the most boring demonstration ever. So I'm just gonna summarize it for you. Basically, the platinum chip is just a software upgrade. It allows the Securitrons on the strip to shoot rockets instead of just the regular machine guns. Another thing is that apparently Mr. House has a bunch of Securitrons hidden away under the fort. The good part about that is that if I'm able to secure those Securitrons, then that means my power over the strip is absolute. The bad part is, in order to get to those, I have to go into the heart of Caesar's legions, aka the furries. Now that I knew the next part of my plan, I stopped at the presidential suite of Lucky 38 to pick up Arcade Gannon. The reason why I picked him up was because I wanted to do his companion quest for Odd Langston. This. I'm doing this for a reason, by the way. I'm not just doing it just to do it. It will come later in the video, so, keep watching. Anyway, Arcade Gannon told me that he used to be a part of the Enclave, or, well, at least his father was. And if you know anything about the Enclave, you know that the Enclave was pretty bad, like kidnap people and commit genocides bad. But Arcade knew that many of the people in the Enclave weren't bad, they were just kind of following orders, and he believes that if they were able to help out in the second battle of Hoover Dam, it would give them some kind of redemption. And so that's what me and Arcade decided to do. We wanted to go find the last remnants of the Enclave scattered around the Mojave. The first guy we looked to recruit was this guy named Orion Marino. He was very mean and grumpy, and he also had a bit of a grudge against the NCR. But after a little bit of lying, I was able to convince him to return to the Remnants bunker. The next people on our list was Daisy Whitman and Dr. Henry. See, that's why I did his quest earlier. Huh, I'm so smart. Next I would recruit Judah Krieger, which is a badass name by the way. Then I'd recruit Cannibal Johnson, which is a less cool name. Now that I got the gang all together, I traveled to the Remnants bunker where I put in the password and was able to get access. I talked to Judah and let him know that we're going to be helping the NCR defend the dam. And suddenly, Marino disappeared. I chased down Marino and I find that he is not happy at all that I'm siding with the NCR. And sadly for me, my speech skill isn't high enough to convince him otherwise, so he's gonna fucking kill me. So let me just give you an idea of what I'm going up against. I'm going up against a man in full power armor, Enclave armor by the way, which is the best armor in the entire game, and he also has a Gatling gun. Now let me give you an idea what I have. I'm just wearing a regular shirt and slacks, and I'm going to be fighting him with a shovel. Yeah, I don't think this was in my favor. And here's another thing to consider. I'm not even allowed to use Stimpaks nor Chems to give myself an edge in this fight. Marino, on the other hand, is holding like 5 Stimpaks. And another thing, I'm playing on very hard difficulty, so this fight wasn't even supposed to be fair at all. I don't even know how many times I died in this fight. Sometimes I'd get lucky and get him stuck for a bit, but then he would just instantly mow me down before I got a chance to knock him down again. Because before this fight, I was actually fairly optimistic about this run. I wasn't having too much trouble at all, but this really knocked some sense into me. Jesus Christ, did this take so long. After my 20th death and my sanity shattered, I was finally able to get Marino into a good spot where I could just keep wailing him due to my Super Slam perk. If I didn't have that perk, I probably would have been soft locked into this part of the game, so thank God. With Marino dead, I stole his power armor and got the power armor training from Whitley, and then I promptly got the fuck out of there. This was the part of the game where I started to realize that I am way underprepared for this, and so I needed to reassess my strategy. I witnessed it with the powder gangers, I was just too ignorant to actually pay attention to it. So, what was I gonna do? But then it hit me. I remembered a weapon that would not only align with the rules, but also give me an edge against the rest of the game and possibly Legate Lanius. A weapon hidden deep within Camp Searchlight. One that is surrounded by ghouls, rad scorpions, and prospectors, and I'd had to face the aura of radiation. One that is called Knock Knock. I may not make it, but if I want a chance at beating this run, I have to get it. I may be tired. I may be hungry. And I may want to do literally anything else.
Get alive.
But I must do this. For the memes. For the funny ha-has. For the... Honestly, I don't remember. So with no time to lose, I fought my way to the church in Camp Searchlight. I immediately started bashing Logan and his prospectors because I did not want to bother doing their quest lines. Halfway throughout the battle, I realized that I did not stock up on food, so I was just kind of running with what I had. Somehow, I came out on top, so I took the key off of Logan's battered body and made my way to the fire station. Yada yada yada, killed more zombies, you know this already. I finally make my way to the fire station, shat my pants, and booked it to the bathroom, where I found it. The one and only Knock Knock. Sadly, I didn't have any time to examine it because I was about to die of radiation poisoning, so I just had to haul ass out of there. I barely made it, but I finally got it. The thing that would probably save this run. Something that would actually make it bearable. The one and only. Okay, in all seriousness, this weapon's actually pretty great. I mean, just look at the stats to the Knock Knock compared to the shovel. Yeah, exactly. Now that I have real power in my hand, I finally built up the courage to go to Conwood Cove. When I get there, I talk to the ferryman, and we go on a magical boat ride all the way to the fort. Joy. Honestly, I can give less of a crap about the furry people because I think something about Marino broke something in me. Anyways, once I'm in the fort, I talk to my favorite historical cosplayer, and he gives me the task of destroying all the robots under the fort. At this point, I did not want to hear any of it because I've already been through hell and back, and I just want my goddamn robots. So I played my cool for the moment, and I went, "Sir, yes sir," and headed to the bunker. Once at the bunker, I put the coin in the slot, which opens up the doors, and voila, now I'm in. Once inside, I take care of the robots, which go down very easily, and then I die before I reach any of the turrets. Is this fun to watch? Is this genuinely fun? Are you enjoying this? Is this fun for you? I'm just gonna skip to the point. After many deaths, I finally activate all the Securitrons under the fort. I return to insert salad pun here and let him know that the robots have been destroyed. Little does he know, I'm a fucking liar. At this point of the run, I was like 5 hours into the recording. I had not stopped for any breaks, so I was just tired and hungry. I already said that, but I don't give two craps. So in this clip, I'm on my way to go meet the Great Khans because apparently helping them out of a hostage situation isn't good enough. So I finally make it to Red Rock Canyon. I fucked off of Red Rock Canyon. I entered the Lucky 38, dragged Veronica to Hidden Valley, and had her give me access to the Brotherhood bunker, where I would bum rush Ramos and kill him immediately, then just leave. And no, I'm not going to attempt to take on an entire Brotherhood chapter wearing only a button-up shirt and slacks. Now that I dealt with the Brotherhood, I made my way to Nellis so I can meet the Boomers. I killed George and run through the artillery bombardment just so I can meet Mother Pearl. I also hate how they have the audacity to be like, "Oh, hello, child. Please help us with our problems," after they literally throw an entire missile bombardment at you. Anyways, I start helping the Boomers with all their problems. And if you've ever played New Vegas, you've probably done these quests a million times, so I'm just going to run through them real quick. I let the ugly child tell me the lore about the Boomers as I scroll through TikTok, offer them my pest control skills, help this dingus named Jack get laid, and fix their solar arrays. I returned back to Mother Pearl, who owes me a lot of solids by the way, and now she's asking me for another one. You know, nothing too big, just raise an entire bomber off the bottom of a lake. Anyways, I return to Loyal, who might have a plane fetish, and he gives me a bunch of shit that will help me get the plane or whatever. Anyways, I go to Lake Mead, attach the things to the bottom of the plane, and then yeah! I finally return back to Mother Pearl, and she'll finally help me in the second battle of Hoover Dam. After that, I did make one last detour, and that was to Red Rock Canyon, so I can kill Papa Khan. For no particular reason, I just really wanted his head. Yeah, Animal Crossing. Alright, now I find myself at the Ultralux, and I originally was gonna help him, but I decided against it because that would just take too long, so yeah. I found my way through the well-groomed cannibals just so I can get into their weird kitchen cellar thing. Anyways, I find Ted Gunderson, and I bring him back to his dad, Heck Gunderson. Okay, that's a name. After talking him out of starving the entirety of Vegas, I return to Yes Man and let him know I have met every tribe on his list. Yes Man would use this as a perfect opportunity to inform me that the president of the NCR is probably going to get assassinated before the second battle of Hoover Dam. So, in turn, I used this opportunity to tell him that I could give 2 shits if the president of the NCR dies. Yes Man clearly didn't care that much either because we just moved on to the next part of our plan. That being to power up a substation that's currently being controlled by the NCR. At this point I could care less about my reputation with the NCR because I basically just walk in, flip a switch, and then walk out. Bada bing, bada boom, now I'm ready for the second battle of Hoover Dam. And without hesitation, I just went straight for it because I just wanted to end this already. Now we're finally at the final mission of the entire game. No gods, no masters. For the first half of the second battle of Hoover Dam, I was mainly fighting the Great Khans and the Legion, mostly because I've already kind of cucked them over multiple times. The battle wasn't too bad, mostly because I had my Securitron buddy with me who had rockets, so yeah, I had some pretty good backup. Also, the boomers came in clutch because I gave them a bomber, so they just blew up half the dam. I also got to see Arcade Gannon again, which is pretty cool. So I continued to fight the Legion until I died. Well, I'll just restart. It's no biggie. I didn't get that far anyways. Anyways, second time's a charm. I start fighting the Great Khans again, and then oh, my game crashed in it. It crashed in it. I gotta boot it all up again. I love doing this. Alright, back into the game, you know, third time's a charm. I start killing these Great Khans and then you gotta be kidding me. Are you serious right now? You're almost done. You're almost done. Just boot up the game. You're almost done. Alright, good news. I'm finally back to where I was. So I just gotta enter the Hoover Dam offices and then, you know, I should just have to fight the rest of them, right? I run across these 2 dudes in power armor that I had to fight because my speech skills are too low. Luckily for me though, I had the mighty knock knock, and so killing these fools were... I'm using the Enclave armor now. Tell me I failed the challenge, I don't care, I'm using it. I finally killed those 2 heavy guys I was talking about earlier, and now I'm officially hated by the NCR. Goody! I installed the override chip, which creepily puts Yes Man's face on all the monitors, and I redirect all the power from the Hoover Dam to the fort so I can awaken my secret robot army. I walk outside and see that the Enclave have pulled up to give me some support. Yeah, we're all here, that means we could kick some NCR ass and chew some legionary, ass. Blood was spilled, tears were shed, but finally, we made it to Legate Lanius' camp. I turned around to see who was still with me. It was the Securitron from the beginning of the battle, and it was Cannibal Johnson. Yep, that's why I did the entire side quest, just so I can have a damage sponge. As we fight through the Legate's camp, I think back to myself, back to the beginning of the video. What was the purpose of me making this video again? I can't remember. I think I did it because it was funny, or maybe it was for science? Who knows? All that I know is that I'm nearing the end. I'm about to fight against the strongest foe yet, Legate Lanius. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to beat him, but all I know is that I laughed, I cried, and I made many friends along the way. As soon as Lanius hit the ground, I immediately started whacking him with my axe. The Legate's guards were too busy dealing with Cannibal Johnson the Securitron, which gave me enough time to just keep whacking Legate Lanius until he stopped moving. Lanius stayed ragdolled on the floor until I finally killed him off with one last blow. Now that Lanius is dead, me and Cannibal Johnson clear out the rest of the Legionary in the area. I look back and reflect on my victory. I see what has become of Legate Lanius' camp and his men, and this is what it is. I have won. Victory is mine. I go to report back to Yes Man to tell him that the day is ours, and I can officially become mayor of the Strip. Wait, what? Fuck you, Nook! After defeating the rat bastard, I returned to Yes Man to inform him that both the NCR and the Legion had been withheld from the dam. After giving each other back pats, the credits roll and I can officially say that I can kinda, sorta beat New Vegas as an Animal Crossing villager. Now that we're officially done, I have a couple notes. If I ever decide to do another challenge run again, I am never playing on very hard difficulty again. This was so difficult. Like, I did have to cut down a lot of the battles because 99% of it was just me dying. Like, for example, I did end up fighting the Brotherhood, but I just couldn't get past any of the turrets, nor could I kill anyone else but Ramos. Also, I'd like to personally apologize about the mic quality. You might not be able to tell. Actually, who am I kidding? You are 100% able to tell. But I'm actually recording this off of my Turtle Beach headset. You know, the ones that I use for Xbox game chats. So, hey, I'm just working with what I have. And I swear it's gonna get better. So thank you for bearing with me for this first video. And speaking of first videos, this is my first video. So if you have any advice on how to improve my content, please do not hesitate to tell me because I'm still learning. I'm an amateur. This is pretty much my magnum opus. And with that being said, I think we can finally close this chapter of the video. The ending. Finally. Wait. I think I'm forgetting something. Shit, I forgot Raul!